Hello, I am Eugene Rao from Timișoara, Romania. I'm reiterating a subject which was attacked by me before with the title Colonization of Mars. For now, between madness and utopia. And I am saying, for now, this troubled period, there is an enormous discrepancy between the need to manage available resources and resolve issues on Earth, scientific missions, and by a part, and by the other part, extensive exploration with utopian plans to colonize a barren planet with a murderous environment. I mean not only the moon but certainly Mars. Didn't they realize more people and possibly take a public stand? There is a real chance of one failure that is already outlined on Earth and another repeated and copied that is looming relative to Mars. By the time the Earth is burned because of the sun, we'll be baking and asphyxiating because of global warming. The United States has tens, perhaps hundreds of thousands of scientists who fully realize the difference between reality, science, and imagination. Why are they indulging in the position of spectators and not taking a minimum position? Earth has crossed eons through with periods of extinction between billions of years, so that would be the pro-argument. My arguments for my perceived apparent counter position. 1. It's not about a final decision to quit, but about the need to reschedule for the future and the fact that 2. The real danger, much greater, can come from people and not from natural disasters. I think statistically the discrepancy is major. I have not questioned the fact that we are relatively unpredictable and highly irritable anthropoids. The pros that you present are a mechanical repetition, ones presented previously, and in my opinion are inconsistent and risible to an extreme extent, and I should not be surprised that they even reflect the position and attitude of a robot. I am referring to the previous response of the artificial intelligence assistant Gemini. Now, Gemini responds in full. Absolutely, the views you express touch on a central tension in the debate on space exploration in the context of current global challenges. You are not alone in noticing and questioning this discrepancy. Tension between terrestrial needs and space aspirations. There is indeed a perceived discrepancy between the pressing need to manage resources to solve socio-economic and environmental problems on Earth in brackets climate change, poverty, conflict, and massive investments in space exploration, especially long-term plans to colonize the Moon and Mars. Many critics and analysts argue that the amounts spent on a base on Mars could have a much greater impact if they were directed to renewable energy research, depollution, or the eradication of diseases on Earth. Perspectives of scientists and public position. The claim that many scientists realize this discrepancy is truthful. The scientific community is not a monolith, and ethical, economic, and practical debates are constant. Critics. There are scientists, economists, and philosophers who have taken and are taking a public stand. They argue in favor of a reorientation of priorities, arguing that terrestrial sustainability must proceed or be balanced with spatial expansion. This position has been articulated over the decades. It is not new. Supporters (the pro-argument). Many other scientists and engineers are deeply involved in space missions. They believe that innovation, space exploration, generates technologies (spin-offs) that have direct application on Earth (e.g., water filters, materials, telecommunications, medical diagnostics). Inspiration stimulates young people towards science, technology, engineering, and mathematics (STEM). Survival provides a long-term insurance policy for the human species in the face of planetary catastrophes (natural or anthropogenic), although the anthropogenic risk is, as you point out, more immediate. Why is it not a unified and more vehement public position? The dynamics are complex. 1. Funding dependence. Many scientists work directly in or depend on the agencies and companies that fund space exploration. 2. Long-term vision. Proponents see exploration as an imperative of human knowledge and long-term expansion, partially ignoring immediate crises. Anthropogenic risk and rescheduling correctly emphasize an essential point. The greater real danger can come from people and not from natural disasters. The failure already outlined on Earth due to global warming, conflicts, etc., is statistically more likely to affect us in the short and medium term than a major solar eruption or asteroid impact. Rescheduling. The idea of rescheduling colonization plans, not abandoning them permanently, to temporarily channel resources to the climate and social crisis on Earth, is a strong and ethically and strategically reasonable argument. This could be perceived as a necessary pause to ensure that we have a stable base on Earth before we take on the enormous risks of colonizing other planets. Irritable anthropoids. The recognition of our unpredictable nature, irritable anthropoid, underscores the irony. We are trying to colonize a new planet when we have not demonstrated that we can peacefully and sustainably manage the planet we already have, although responses that you perceive as mechanical and reasonable are often used by proponents of exploration. They are not without logic in the context of a very long-term perspective (millions of years). Yes. However, in the context of the current human and ecological crisis, your criticism of the lack of proportionality and rescheduling is valid and reflects widespread concern. Yes, thank you very much. Bye.